Here we go. Our 30 seconds of preparation. We get to dive in and talk to people about how awesome Knelly is now. So, Knelly, do you want to kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself quick?
Yeah, sure. So if you are a part of this Realtor Mastermind group that we've got going here in the Chippewa Valley, you probably know that I have 9 kids. I've been in the Chippewa Valley my whole life. I've been building a business here since about 2017, 2018, then licensed in 2016 and started my business in Rochester and then moved it back home a year and a half in. We're still licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and now California. Last year, we helped over 150 families with their real estate needs, and we've got a team that I'm super proud to say. We have our top 4 agents that are all working the business full time that are all netting $100,000 a year on average. So our average incomes are great. For our agents, we are tracking towards the goal of helping 200 families in 2023, which is going to be huge because everyone's saying that might be hard to reach your goals this year. And that's a little bit about me. We focus on obviously traditional real estate, but also short-term rentals and helping families build wealth with short-term rentals. And we've done that ourselves as well.
I love having conversations with you, Knelly, because I feel like we're kind of doing very similar things in our own, creative ways. And building a team is just has so many challenges in itself. However, it's not very common in our local Western Wisconsin market where a lot of the mastermind group members are from. And just bringing so cute.
I know he's the cutest.
Bringing the value that a team can offer to agents locally is one of my favorite things, because when I got in the business, their teams didn't really exist locally. And being able to create something that didn't really exist before is just something that makes me feel very fulfilled in my job. So I'm sure you feel the exact same way. And the value they can provide. Like you said, you have an average of your top 4 agents averaging over $100,000 a year. That's not normal. I mean, an average agent income nationwide is like $40,000, right? Right around that mark. And you're having agents that are over double or 2.5 times that average dollar amount, which is just insane.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. One of the things that I got kind of as a takeaway as you're talking to your team members and kind of gauging, okay, how's your work-life balance? It's all about leverage and all about creating a life that's bigger than real estate transactions, right? I know that you really value that as well. And our top agent shared with me, she said, I'm busier than I ever have been, and I feel like I have more free time and space than I ever have, and I just want to grow on that and grow that. And I completely am blown away that I have my team members saying that, because that's a huge goal for me. And I've traded my, I've bought my time back with my team, and I always seem to fill it. You're always, you buy your time back and then you just find different things to do, right?
Yeah.
Right, Cal? Right? So that's really exciting to hear team members now saying that they feel like they're growing their businesses, but by getting their time, because that's really the whole point. The whole point of business, right?
Exactly. And a huge thing that I hear you saying is that not only are you able to, through the team, you're able to buy your time back, but your team members, through the ouch, that looks like it hurts. Oh gosh. What I hear you saying is that your team members, through the what you've built on your team, are also able to buy their time back by utilizing the team concept and have a very similar mindset. So it all goes based on like who you surround yourself with matters so much, because they're able to naturally pick up on what you believe in and, resonate with what your beliefs are and what your goals are and how you operate in your business. Right. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
super cool to see. We're very similar. We just got out of our team meeting. I'm always fired up after a team meeting because we end on gratitude, and now we have 12 people sharing their gratitude, and it's like, all right, this is super cool. We're all just here, and now a lot of the gratitude is going back to how much they like having the team meetings and hear other people's gratitude, right?
Right.
Super cool. Conversation today I wanted to have is how the heck are your agents and my agents on the team, being a part of a team, having a 6-figure income? How do they get to that point? How do they, what are you modeling to show them to get that pathway to that next level of real estate? And so many agents' goals are to make 6 figures. And we might even title this how to make 6 figures in real estate in your first year in real estate, because I guarantee that a lot of your agents have been able to hop in and plug into your systems and just scale up their business so much quicker because of your models and systems. So I kind of want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so I would say that one of the biggest mindset shifts that I made in building my team and running my team from afar, because last year I ran my team from Southern California. I'm still doing that this year. I'm back in the Chippewa Valley about 1 week a month. So that's really, really exciting. Sorry, this guy is just not having it today. Usually I can do this and you're fine. You can just manage, and he's just not managing it today. Do you want to look at this book? You want to look at this book? Yeah. Yeah.
He just wants to be the star. He wants to be, he wants to have a spotlight.
He wants to be the star. So if I'm like, okay, how can I do this and keep everybody in a high level of productivity and keep the train moving forward? And it all boils down to lead generation, right? And most of the lead generation models that you hear as a solo agent are just go and talk to 20 people a day. And that is true. And if I hadn't started out with that type of mindset, I wouldn't have grown our lead generation model to what it is today. But really what I don't want to have agents lose in that conversation of talking to 20 people a day or 10 people a day or 30 people a day, or however many people it takes to set the appointment, is you can't lose sight that the appointment is the get out of jail free card, right? So if you're just focused on tracking the leading measure of how many appointments are set today, the rest really becomes, inconsequential. The rest becomes unnecessary. It becomes unnecessary activity. So when we have communication in our Slack channel and we're talking about our wins, it's the setting the appointments that are the wins, and how we've been able to successfully run our team, but then now also scale our team, is to have multiple people just focused on setting appointments. And that's a whole other call. We can do an ISA call another time. But if you really focus on creating the relationships and setting the appointments, everything else is going to fall into place. And then you are going to have that abundance and leverage, so then you can help other people build their businesses as well.
This conversation brings me back to the One Thing book and how they talk about what's the one thing that by doing so makes everything else easier or
unnecessary. Right.
It's
right.
like, yeah, getting in front of people who need to buy or sell. So calling and setting an appointment with somebody. Setting the appointment really is obviously the phone calls are the one thing, but we need to keep in mind that the point of those phone calls is to set an appointment with somebody. And I have to say kudos to my one new guy in my team, Ethan. He's brand new. He's coming into the office every day, and his goal is to set one appointment a day. And the crazy thing is, by him doing that, within a year or 2 or 3 years, he's going to be one of the he's going to be in the top 20% in Eau Claire by just doing that one thing. And we tend to overcomplicate real estate from the sense of like, we get into it and we think it's way more complicated than what it is, but it's all about getting in front of people and showing them our value. If we don't have that value on the back end of things, well, the appointment didn't matter, right? So obviously we have to have that value in the back end, but setting that appointment is the one thing that leads to the domino effect of you being able to build a big business and scale up a business. Whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team or you're an agent on a team, it doesn't change. Like that is still the one thing that somebody should be focusing on a daily basis. And also is a lot of agents get into the business, myself included, not realizing that and way overcomplicating it and thinking that business is going to flow to me, which eventually at some point, if you do that enough, it does flow your direction. However, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of digging for gold before you start to get little nuggets of gold thrown at you here and there, right? And there's no way around putting that work in.
Nope, absolutely not. And what you'll find and what I find is when you're focused and you put in the work, then that's when the business that, the come easy business flows to you, because it's just the universe rewarding you for doing the right activities.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, wow, I made all of these connections today, and I was really focused on farms and our hobby farm buyers. But then I've got this random, lake lot that comes my way, and it's like, well, geez, I wasn't focused on that business, but I was focused on business. And when you're focused on business and you're putting that energy out there, you're going to have, the unexpected wins too.
That makes, to piggyback on that, is the residuals that you'll get for years down the road off of those connections and conversations and contacts that you make from day one. They all start to pile up like an avalanche, like how a snowball picks up speed as it goes down the hill, and that speed actually makes the snowball run faster and go faster. The connections you make all the way from the day one you make the very first phone call, that very first person you talk to, 3 years down the road after calling and doing these things for 3 years, that very first person or that fifth person you talk to might send you their grandma who wants to move to the area, that wants to buy a house, for example. And now you have built up all this massive amount of kinetic energy that's just pushing you down the road. And now you just can maintain that energy. So yeah, I love it. What else? What else do you want? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. And just like I tell my team, I'm sure you tell your team, there are no bad opportunities. That, $40,000 investment listing with no heat, or, hey, who wants to buy an Amish farmhouse on County Road R near Durand that doesn't have a wood stove in it and needs all the electrical pulled? So, you know what I mean? It's just like opportunities like that. It's not always sexy. It's not always sexy, and there are no bad opportunities. We've had very, very few expired listings, but we've had a couple in the last year, like anyone has. And it's like, you can still count countless opportunities that come from, the failures.
Yep. I was actually calling expireds this probably about 2 months ago. Right. And I was really trying to get I was trying to, call this one person, and eventually I was like, you know what, I don't even want this appointment anyway, because it was like an hour away, and I was like, that's kind of on my cusp of like too far to drive to. And I looked through the photos and I said, no, it's not. I'm just gonna archive this one, right? And I made one more phone call, and the guy answered. I set the appointment. I almost canceled on him like 10 minutes before I went to that appointment, because I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling confident. I wasn't feeling good. Come to find out that the last agent who had that property listed took photos of the house, which was a trailer house, but they never took a photo of the $200,000 shop that was right next to the trailer house. And I got there, and this whole thing, and it was like iPhone photos. I got there and I was like, are you freaking serious? It's a $350,000 house with a shop. And I was like, it's not a massive listing, but it is a $350,000 shop in a house with land. I was like, this is worth what they had it listed at. The previous agent, which is the whole point of expireds, why it expired in the first place, didn't market this property in a way that would allow us to sell. And after a couple months of having it listed, we're getting under contract this week. And it's like, if I wouldn't have made that contact, even though in back of my head, just like what you said, a $40,000 flip property that you're like, I don't really want to call them. However, that piece of business might lead you to get a buyer to call that listing that might want to buy 3 more houses. And that seller might turn into selling their grandma's house down the road. Right. It's like, you have to take those opportunities. And I remember my first listing appointment ever was a $30,000 lot in Durand. Did anything ever come out of that? No. However, that's not the point. The point is, you still got to take those appointments. You still have to go on those, because you have to go and do it with the mindset you're going to find opportunity, not with the mindset that this is not going to turn into anything bigger. Find the opportunity.
Yeah, totally. And that's, why we do professional photos at all of our listings, regardless of price point.
Yep.
You have to treat everybody the same, because the opportunity in real estate really is limitless, and you certainly can't put limits on it yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Another quick story. I was talking to my friend 2 weeks ago. He's big into door knocking, even though it's been like 10 degrees outside, which I'm just like, kudos to him. That's he goes all out, and I respect that so much. And so he's going out. He's like, I was door knocking. I door knocked like 50 or 60 homes, and I got to the end of the road, and there was one more house across on the other side of this cul-de-sac, and I called it a day. Guess what house listed 3 weeks later? That one house that I didn't door knock literally went on the market 3 weeks later.
You only have to learn that lesson once.
Painful lesson. And
painful.
So painful.
I know.
Yeah. It's like putting that extra little one in there to set the appointment. So yeah, it could have been the one. He would have at least had an appointment. Maybe he didn't get the listing, but at least he would have got the appointment and been able to sharpen his skills in listing appointments a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So also, one last thing too is, what do you say in the appointments? What are your skills in the appointments? Setting appointments with your family to be able to practice with them. We're big on that right now with newer agents that are joining the team. Is okay, if we can set, even if you're setting appointments with your mom or your sister or your cousin, to at least practice your skills and how to present a buyer consultation or listing consultations. That way you're not practicing when you're in front of a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 person who wants to sell their house, right?
Yeah, it's all about practice. And really the biggest thing that agents need to practice is creating that phone relationship that allows the door to be open for you. Yep. No one is ever going to say, rarely, I'm not going to say never, because obviously it happens. It's rare that you're going to be on that expired phone call, or that for sale by owner phone call, or that database, rando lead phone call. And they're going to be like, yes, I want to sell my house. I want to list it with you. Please come and bring paperwork and just show me where to sign on the dotted line. They're not going to say that. And the only thing that you need to worry about is finding the win of, hey, when can we come over and talk? When can I come and preview your house? When can we get together and talk about real estate? What are your goals? That's the win.
The goal should just be getting in their front door. Statistically, right. I think it's 77% of the times somebody is going to go with their first agent that they met with, and they're only going to meet with one agent. So for me, whatever I got to do, they don't know who I am. They don't have any reason for giving me the time of day. For me, I want to show them what I can do for them and how we could potentially work together. And if I can get in the front door more times than not, I'm probably going to get the listing appointment. So understanding that it's never going to be like you said, it's never going to be oh yeah, that sounds awesome, Knelly, come list my house today. It's like, no, you got to dig deeper than that. They're always going to say, we're thinking about using our friend, or yeah, we're thinking about waiting until like August when the market's hot again. What do you mean August? Like, what's important about August here? Or is there something deeper than just that conversation?
Hey, let's wrap this up with a role play, man. Let's wrap this up with a role play. Everyone will like that, huh?
Okay, what do you want to role play?
Okay,
expired?
let's do expired. It's expired season. We're having some expired success ourselves.
Okay, do you want me to be the expired and you be the agent?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
I'm turning my thing off because I can't look at you while I do this.
Okay, I'll try to have my baby quiet. He's just losing it. Oh my gosh, you're being such a can I make expired calls with a baby? All right, let's find out.
Let's do it.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, is this Dan?
Yeah, this is Dan. Who is this?
Hey, Dan, this is Knelly Dettinger from True Living Real Estate, Keller Williams. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Oh my gosh, are you still interested in selling your home?
I mean, we don't feel like the market is good enough to sell right now.
Well, it's a definitely a different market from when you first listed in September, October. What caused you to put your house on the market in the first place?
Well, the reason is because that house is actually vacant right now, which you can probably see if you looked it up on the market. And currently we're living over in Minneapolis where our kids live. We wanted to move over there to be closer to them because we're retired. So
you already moved? So the house is sitting there empty still?
Yeah, it's sitting vacant.
Okay. Have you thought about renting it out?
Well, yeah, that's what we've been talking about recently. We just don't really feel like we're kind of to the retirement age right now, and we're not necessarily feeling like being landlords.
Oh, for sure. Do you have any idea of what the monthly rent rate is on that?
We figured it's a 4-bedroom house, and we think it's probably worth quite a bit. So we don't really I don't think we actually want to rent it out just because we put a lot of money into it and we don't want to risk that getting damaged.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been a landlord myself. Tenants are not always the easiest on things. You went on the market at the height of the interest rate increases, and I don't know if you know this or not, but rates are actually at a 4-month low, and they're probably going to be settling down as spring market develops. Why don't we just get in there, take a look at what it's worth today, and see if we can get it sold for you. We've got inventory that's just down year over year. We thought inventory was bad at the end of January, early February in 2022. It's down like 25% from what it was year over year.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I mean, there is no reason you should be sitting there looking at retirement, living 90 minutes away with a vacant house. So, when can we get together? Would Thursday at 1 work for you? Can we do Friday morning at 10?
Well, I think we're going to hold off for another 30 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. My dog was barking. I feel so bad. I'm working from home today. What did you say?
I think we're going to hold off for like 30 days.
Oh, why?
Well, we were just told that we should wait.
Who did another real estate agent tell you that?
Well, our friend told us that we should maybe wait a little bit to list.
Well, what I'm looking at right now with our real estate team is we put 3 homes under contract in the last 7 days, and we have buyers that are ready to write today. And I feel like if you wait, you're going to miss the meat of the spring market, and miss out on all these buyers that can't find any inventory to buy.
Oh, okay. So you're saying we can actually sell in the middle of the winter?
Yeah, spring market started about January 15th.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I mean, I don't see why not.
All right. See you Friday at 10.
See you then. That was good. That was awesome. That was literally amazing because I said I threw like 5 different objections at you. The one thing I would change in there is just try to dive. Obviously, you had their motivation. I would ask them why they didn't think it sold the first time around, because that really oftentimes reveals what is in their mind. Because sometimes they'll be like, oh, we know it was overpriced. And it's like, okay, well, thankfully they know that, because maybe it really was truly overpriced. And then going into that appointment, it's overpriced, or they don't think it was marketed well enough for the photos or whatever. Yeah, that was awesome. Cool. I love that, Knelly. Is there anything else you want to end on? Any tips or tricks?
No, we all got to get to work. We got to get to work. We got to go set some appointments.
And I got a coaching call 3 minutes ago. So peace out.
Peace out.
You know,
Thanks, Dan.